Okay, welcome everyone. As tonight's fascinating Mishna Yomis is being specially sponsored by my Talmida Esther Stern, her brother, her family, Le'ili Nishmas, her father, David Levi ben Yeshaya Zev, and her uncle, Aaron Tzvi ben Yeshaya Zev. Their neshama should have a lichtige ganeh. They should be Melitza Yosher for their family, for all of us, and all of Klal Yisrael. And as a regular, we're sponsored by the Fish family, Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi Shalom ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain. We're also sponsored by Nishmas David ben Chaim, Lefu Shalom for Yomis ben Chai Sar, Yaakov ben Bas Yeleya, and for Schus of Avram Yom ben Benish ben Malki Yudis. We are sponsored by your Klugman and family for the Panos Gzun Nachas, Lefu Shalom for Moshe Meir ben Esther Fradel, Rivka Bashir Leah, Devar Bas Shoshabina, Meir ben Chai Sara. They should have a refuah shalema b'seich sha'ar chayla Yisrael. We are holding with the second Mishnah in the 10th parak of Sanhedrin. Shloisha malachim, 3 kings, v'arba hedyotis, and 4 commoners, ein lem chelik lo'elam haba, have the terrible, terrible fate of not having a portion in the afterlife. That's a terrible fate, to lose eternity. Now, the Rav tells us, of course, many other people tragically don't have Olam Haba. The Gemara says in Masechtas Tanis that Rabbi Broka Chayzah, Rabbi Broka the seer, met Eliyahu Hanavi in the Shuka Debei left, in the teeming marketplace of left that had a massive amount of people. And he said to Eliyahu, is there any Ben Olam Haba in this entire marketplace? It's like going to the Woodbridge Mall and saying, is there any Ben Olam Haba? And Eliyahu said no. Then later he would point out a jailer and 2 jesters, but initially he said there's no Ben Olam Haba in the entire mall. The Gemara tells us in Menachos that Olam Haba was made with a yud because it's the smallest letter and very few people get there. However, the Rav says these 3 kings and 4 commoners who had a lot of Torah knowledge, even they lost their Olam Haba. And in the case of Bilam, it tells us that Bilam doesn't have Olam Haba, although he was a guy, implying that other Goyim can have Olam Haba if they're Chasidei Umas Ha'olam. So let's see the Mishnah inside. Shloisha Malachim, 3 kings, V'arba Hedyotis, and 4 commoners, Ein Lem Chelik L'Olam Haba, do not have a portion in the afterlife. Shloisha Malachim, 3 kings, Yeravam. Now Yeravam was the first king of the north in his split with Rechavam. It was because of jealousy. What happened is they had to go aliyah l'regel, and when they went up to the Beis Hamikdash, there's a din that ein yeshiva ba'azara el l'malchus beis David bilvad. You can only sit in the temple courtyard for kings of the Davidic dynasty. So that would mean that his rival Rechavam would get to sit on a throne, while Yeravam, who wasn't from the Davidic dynasty, wouldn't be able to sit on the throne. Since he couldn't tolerate that, he set up idols in 2 places. And he told the Jews to worship those idols and not go aliyah l'regel. So he was a masis to idolatry. Therefore, he lost his Olam Haba. Achav was also one of the kings of the north, and Achav actively worshipped idolatry. Menashe was the son of the righteous Chizkiyahu, and he too built altars to idolatry. But Achav, after reigning for 22 years, was captured by the Assyrians, and he repented, and he begged Hashem for mercy, and Hashem actually returned him for another 33 years to Yerushalayim. So Rabbi Yehuda Aimer Menashe yesh lo chelik l'olam haba. His chelik in olam haba was restored. Shenemar vayispal elav. Menashe prayed to Hashem. Vaye'asa lo. Hashem was entreated by him, allowed himself to be entreated. Vayishma tchinasai. He listened to Menashe's supplications. Vayishiveyu Yerushalayim l'malchusai. And he was returned to Yerushalayim to his empire. Amrulai l'malchusa yeshiva. The Rabbanan said to Rabbi Yudi was returned to his throne, but v'loy l'chaya l'maba yeshiva. But he wasn't returned to the afterlife. Abba had Yaitis. There were 4 commoners that lost their Olam Haba. Bilam, who cursed Klal Yisrael. Doeg terribly, he told Shaul that Achimelech, who was a Kohen, assisted David by giving him food and a weapon in Novir HaKahanim, and that caused Shaul to kill Novir HaKahanim. So although Doeg was a tremendous Talmid Chacham, he lost his Olam Haba. Achitophel was also a very great Talmid Chacham, but Achitophel supported Avshalom in his revolt against David HaMelech. The Gehazi, who was the Shamish of Elisha, one of the things that he did is, remember those idols that Yeravam set up? Gehazi knew the secret of magnets, and he attached powerful magnets that weren't seen, and it caused the idols to look like they were hanging in the air. So again, he was guilty of seducing the public against Hashem. Mishna Gimel tells us, the generation of the flood has no portion of the afterlife, and the Einaim Demadin. They were already punished in the terrible flood, so they won't stand in judgment. Shenemar, lo yodoin ruchi va'adam la'olam, my spirit won't rest in this man forever. Lo din, they won't be judged, but lo ruach, but they won't have a spirit in the afterlife. The Aflaga, the generation of dispersion, that built a tower to rebel against Hashem, ein lem chelik lo'olam haba. They lost their portion in the afterlife. Hashem dispersed them there on the face of the land. Hashem dispersed them in this world. And from there Hashem dispersed them. That tells us that they won't get the afterlife. Anshe Sidaim, the wicked people of Sidaim, ein lem chelik lo'olam haba. They lost their afterlife. Shenem of Anshe Sidaim, roim b'chatam l'Hashem ma'od. They were evil and sinful to Hashem very much. Roim b'olam hazeh, evil in this world. V'chatam l'olam haba. Aval oimdim abedin, but they will get punished in the Gehenna. Reb Nechemia Eimer, elu ve'elu ein oimdim adin. Even the people of Sidaim that were punished with the Gofris b'melech will escape judgment. Shenemar al kein lo yukumu rishon b'mishpat. They won't get up in judgment. V'chatam badas tzadikim, and the sinners in the assemblage of the righteous. Al kein lo yukumu rishon b'mishpat zedar hamabel. That's the generation of the flood. V'chatam badas tzadikim, nor the sinners in the assemblage of the righteous. Elu anshe Sidaim, that they won't be judged either. Amrulai, no. They won't get up in the assemblage of righteous to get Gan Eden. But they will be judged with the assemblage of the wicked. Meraglim, the spies that spoke bad about Eretz Yisrael, they lost their afterlife. And the men would die, that spoke evil tidings against Eretz Yisrael, dibas haaretz ra. B'magefa, in a plague lifnei Hashem, v'yamusu, they will die ba'olam hazeh in this world, b'magefa, in a plague ba'olam haba. Dar Midbar, this is a terrible thing. The generation of the desert, what we call the Dordeya, ein lem chelik l'olam haba, for all their complaining in the desert, saying hamibli ein kfar b'midbar lekachton hamibli ein kfar b'mitzrayim. Because there was no graves in Mitzrayim, you took us to die in the Midbar, and etc. For all of their complaining and their accusations, they won't have a portion in Olam Haba, but they won't be judged either. Shenema b'Midbar hazeh yitamu, in this desert they will cease, v'sham yamusu, and there they will die. Divrei Rebbe Kiva. Rebbe Eliezer says no, they will get Olam Haba. Aleim u'aymer isvu li chasidai, gather around me my pious ones, kaisei brisi, that the first ones that made a covenant with me by Har Sinai, alei zavach, accompanied by karbonos that they brought at Har Sinai. Adas Kairach ein asida lalois. The assemblage of Kairach, because of their machlokes, they will not rise. Shenema v'tchas aleim ha'oretz, the earth covered them ma'olam hazeh in this world. V'yovdu mitoch hakol, and they will perish from the congregation. La'olam haba. Divrei Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Eliezer Aimer, Aleim who Aimer is referring to them. It says Hashem meimis u'mechaya. Hashem kills, but He'll bring back to life. Morid Sholi brings them down to the netherworld, to the lowest level of Gehenim. But they will be brought back up. So there will be hope for the Adas Kairach. Aseres Hashvatim, the 10 tribes that were exiled, Einon Asidin Lazar, they will not return to the fold in Eretz Yisrael. Shenema v'yachshlichem el Eretz Acheres, they were cast away to another land, kayom hazeh, like this day. Ma yom hazeh hoylech ve'ein chayzer, just like a day is not retrievable. Once it's finished, it never comes back. Afheim holchem ve'einam chayzer, they went and they're not going to be returned. Divrei Rabbi Kiva. However, Rabbi Eliezer argues for their merit. Rabbi Eliezer Aimer, just like a day is first dark and then light. It's dark for them now. They will be illuminated once again and illuminated upon once again and return to the fold. We once again want to thank Esther Stern for dedicating this shir, especially Nishmas, our father, David Levi ben Yeshaya Zev, and her uncle, Aaron Tzvi ben Yeshaya Zev. The neshama should have a great aliyah. They should be a militza yosher for Esther, our brother, and for the family, and for all of Klal Yisrael. If anybody wants to sponsor a share, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Also a reminder that if you would like to join us for the DAF, Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. It's very simple to join our DAF family. Just go to zoomdaf.com and put in meeting code. It's a very easy meeting code. We made it very easy. It's my initials, all in caps, RMMW, Rabbi Moshe Meir Weiss, all in caps, and that's the way you get onto the share. Thank you for joining us, and have a good Tavach.